Yeah, hi. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay, so myself is
Good
Atul
afternoon, sir.
Pratap Singh. I am one of the instructor of the C programming course. And so this is the week two live coding session for qualifier. We have already done first 2 week live session for term students, but this is just a repetition for the only qualifier. This only week one and week two. From week three onwards, that session will be combined for term and qualifier students. So I hope many of the students now the qualified student in this terms in this session. And so as this is a C programming course, so this basically programming course. So definitely you have to write many program in the assignment also from week three onwards. Okay. So first 2 weeks is only basics about the computers and computationals and data representation in the computer, and from week three, main C programming will start, and you will also get the programming assignment in your assignments. So today I'll discuss some. I'll also give the brief idea of programming assignments, how you need to submit that programming assignment on the portal, and also this this Saturday session. Today's session is basically reserved for the coding practice. Okay, so we will use some another platform, that is online GDV, uh, and we will release some new problems for only practice during this session. Okay, and assignments are different, so that portal assignments are different, but these problems are different for only practice in this session. So let me share my screen and show you. Okay. Okay. So before starting the main things of the session, if you have any doubt, because most of you are the qualified students, if you have any doubt, you can ask. Uh, I hope you have joined the previous 2 week session, so most of the doubts are maybe cleared. But if you have still any doubts, you can ask. So any doubt regarding anything, so you can just ask. Pius, yeah, go ahead.
Sir, you had told that from week 3 we will run C plus coding. Actually, in our schools we had not taught any of the basics. So, will you teach it from basics, or do we
Yeah,
need to learn
definitely.
anything?
So this week three onwards, we will start from very basics in the programming questions. Okay, so week one and week two are very basics about the only computers, data representation, which you should know about the computer actually. But week three, we will start from very basics like operators, syntax, everything. So this Saturday session today, I'll also start with very basics of the programming, C programming, and we will discuss very basics program. After that, you can go to the little bit high level program, okay, in the coming weeks. But for
Thank you, sir.
qualifier only, the your syllabus is still week 4. So if you have only 2 weeks for the programming, so that is not much difficult level. That is only was very basic level. And also for qualifier students, your exam will be conducted as like a theory exam. So MCQ, MSQ, this type of questions will be there. But once you will register this course as a after qualified, once you register this course as a term course to continue, so definitely in this course programming exam is also there. So you have to practice much for the coding problems to clear that programming exam. So that is not for qualifier. That is after the qualifier. Once you qualified the qualifier exam and you enter into the program. Okay. So that is only for term students, those who have already qualified and entered into the program. But for qualifier, your exam will be only that theory exam, like code type questions will be there, but no need to write any code on platform like this. Okay, any other query?
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, I have a doubt regarding the
Mhm.
live session.
Yeah.
So we all of us have got an email that it is mandatory for standalone student to join and attend the live session. By standalone student, is it mean that those who are completing it as 1 degree or dual degree student?
Standalone means you are doing only this degree right now. You are not doing any another like job or any another degree or with parallelly with this course.
Okay,
Okay.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Hmm. Yeah.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Good
I
evening.
have regarding question of SCT for qualifier, sir. When will it come?
ESTC course you are asking?
SCT.
SCP. What is this?
CT.
SCT. Okay.
Sir,
Okay.
SCT.
SCT, na system compatibility test. I think this is the full
Yes,
form for.
sir. Yes, sir.
So
That's it.
you are qualified students or term students?
Qualifier, sir. Qualifier.
Okay. So this SCT exam is only for the term student basically, or yeah, that is for programming exam actually. This is system compatibility test. Have you received any mail regarding this?
No, sir.
No, so you don't need this right now. Okay, once you qualified and you will enter into the program. Okay, then this is required for programming exam, pre-exam, pre system compatibility test. Your system is properly working for the exam or not? Like this type of test is.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay.
It will come after the qualifier exam. After I qualified, sir.
Once you qualified the qualifier, and after that you registered this programming course as a term course. Okay, after and
Thank you, sir.
you should enroll into the program.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yeah, man.
Sir, you have said that in standalone degree, means it's like for those who are doing single degree, means like that only.
This only. Yeah.
The C programming. I mean, sir, I meant to say the IIT BS degree, I think so. But sir, actually, I'm in 12th standard currently, so have to come in this lectures like always, or it's like not mandatory for coming because I have a tuition classes also.
So that first thing you're qualifier or term student?
Actually, I'm a qualified student.
Qualifying. Na? Okay, so I think this is not applicable for qualifier students. Okay, once
Okay.
you enroll into the program,
Hmm.
okay, then this will be applicable for standalone students.
Because they are writing that just for the standalone students, it's mandatory the attendance. So that's why.
So those who are doing only this degree as a single degree currently and
Yeah.
not doing any other things,
Okay,
so
sir.
they need to mandatory attend this classes, live sessions.
And sir, but I am a qualified student, and even I am a 12th standard student, means 12th appearing student. So it's mandatory to attend every lecture. So it's like I
No,
can
no, no,
attend.
no, not required. And I you can also watch these session later on the YouTube. All
Okay,
these
sir.
are streamed on the YouTube.
Yes, sir. I know. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Question, sir.
So one second. Pariya Purni. Hmm.
Sir, where can we get the YouTube link for this subject, sir? Because for other subjects, we have already got the link. But for this,
Can you see my course page and see the announcement tab? Okay, there is one announcement yesterday we have sent live session schedule details for C programming. When you open this, you can see YouTube channel link for live session in this.
thank you so much, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, all the previous terms, all previous weeks which we have already done, all session recordings are available in this channel. Yeah, man.
Uh, Hello, sir.
Okay, man. Yeah, Asis. Wait.
Sir, will the course start again from first week after qualifying exam?
No, what you are saying? You are qualified students or term student?
Sir, I am qualified student.
Qualifier. Okay. So there are two way actually. So those student who will qualified in the first attempt. Okay. So after completing the first 4 week, there will be the one exam. Okay, and that is first attempt for the qualifier. If you qualified that exam and you want to continue this course, like you want to continue enroll this course in the same term, current term, so you have to continue from the week 5, week 6 in the same term. Other way, what you can do after qualifying, you can stop this course. You can enroll this course in the later term. Okay, then you have to start from the first week again.
So that time there is no qualifier exam.
Uh, No, you have to give the qualifier exam. After qualifying, then you have to enroll this program. Once you qualified, okay, then there is a process to admission, like a admission into the program. Okay, at that
Okay.
time you have to enroll the course. What course you want to take in the current term. So at that time, you this is your decision what course you want to take. So you can select two course, you can select three course, you can select four course like. So which course you will select, you have to give the exam for that. In the if you want to continue this program in the same current May term, then you have to continue this four course. So four course are running for the qualifier. So you can select any number of course, like you can select two course out of these. So for these two course which you are selecting, you have to continue learning like from week 5 onwards, and you have to give the remaining exam for that course. If you want to enroll these course in the later term, then you have to start from the first week again.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay, so some more. Yeah, please ask the query. Those who have raised their hand.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Rag.
Sir, after qualifier exam, can we change the subject, like the number of subject you want to
How you can change. So after qualified, we will ask to enroll the course to you. At that time, you can select any course, which course you want to select.
take? Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, Noel.
Hello, Professor. I have a question that if I pass the qualify exam
Hmm.
and I notice that if I continue to learn C programming and
Hmm.
we will have like two OPPE exam, like
Yeah.
what kind of exam are those OPPE?
Yeah, so these OPP exam are the programming exam where this is firstly remote exam, but this is proctored exam. So some proctor will monitor to you in during the exam. You have to connect through the Gmeet via your mobile phone camera. Okay, and the questions will be the similar of your week 3. Like we have already released programming assignment in week 3 yesterday, so you can see the type of programming question and interface. So same interface you will get, and that is timed exam, 2 hours you will get, and at least I think 4 question you have to complete. Okay, during the 2 hours, and proctor will monitor to you via camera or a screen sharing. So you have to give the exam remotely. You have to solve all the programming assignment during this exam. And
Okay.
portal, we will use only this same portal which you are currently using as a course. So same type of portal you will see in the programming exam. So like this GRPA questions. So you can see GRPA 1. This is a programming assignment. Okay, where you can see the question statement, and on the right side you can complete the solution. And you can click on the test run button to test the public test case, and submit button to test the private test case. So same interface will be provided to you for the exam.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, any other doubt, anyone? Okay. Okay, so first thing, let me just give some idea of the programming assignment. So you can see from week 3 onwards till week 1 and week 2, we have only this quiz type of questions. So MCQ, MSQ, and numerical input type of questions. But now week 3, with this quiz assignment, week 3 graded assignment, you can see. Okay. So graded means this will be considered for your marks actually, in the assessment. These practice assignments are not graded, so there is no marks for this practice assignment. It's only for the practice. Okay, and we will also discuss these assignment in our live session, practice assignments. Before deadline, we will not discuss the grading assignment. You can ask some clarification, but we will not provide the solution for graded assignment before the deadline. This PPA, practice programming assignment. These programming assignment are also for only practice. Okay, and similarly, GRPA are graded programming assignment. So from week 3 onward, how the weekly score will be calculated. So for each week, you have two types of assignment. This graded assignment, this quiz assignment, you can see this type of questions. And another, like, there are 8 graded programming assignments. So how the score will be calculated for week 3? So 50% marks will be taken for this theory assignment, okay, from week 3, and remaining 50% marks will be taken from this GRPA 1 to 8 average score. What is the average score of GRPA 1 to GRPA 8? And for that average score, we will take 50% score. So 50% for theory assignment and 50% for average of all GRPAs of that week. This will be your week 3 overall score. Okay, in this way, the remaining week marks will be calculated. Yaman.
So sorry for asking that, but if I've qualified my exam, then after which batch I will just join the IIT MBS degree program.
So as I mentioned that if you qualified the first attempt of qualifier, okay, so you can continue in the same terms. Okay, you can continue in the same terms, May terms. But if you are not able to clear the first attempt and you attempt the second reattempt exam, that will be conducted, I think, in August. So at that time, you cannot continue this course in this term. So you have to enroll these course in the next September term.
But sir, I was just I'm a 12th appearing student. Means I will get my result at May of next year, 2026.
Okay, okay,
So
okay, 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 got it. So you are a different category student. So yeah, you can enroll this program after qualifying your 12th, after clearing your 12th.
okay, means I will just qualify for the next year. Means like
Yes, yes,
2026 May
yes.
batch.
Hmm.
So I have to give the exam again. So it would be like settled
No,
out.
no, no. This is your qualified student. Once you qualified, you will be considered as a qualified, and you can start our program after qualifying your 12th.
Okay, sir. Thank you
So
so much.
that may be so when you will get your result of 12th class. So maybe in June, July, na, next
May.
May. Okay. So I think you can start May, or if result is not come before the your this registration process, then you have to start from September.
Yeah, because I'm from Maharashtra board, and it maybe means it gives at like May only.
Hmm.
The result probably
So
comes at
you have to
May.
check that because you have to submit your 12th result before enrolling this
Yeah, I
program.
know, sir.
So then you can only start.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. Okay. So as I mentioned that from week 3 onwards, these programming assignments and theory assignments, both you have to do as a graded assignment. 50-50 percent weightage is there for. So now theory assignment you have already doing, so you know that. But now GRPS, what is the interface? So let me just clear the interface. Okay. So you can see this. I have just opened the GRPA one. Okay, and PPAs are also similar. Okay, similar type of question, similar type of interface, so you can practice for PPAs also. So here this is the overview tab on the top. Overview, here you can see the overview submission status. What is the submission status? So how many public test case pass for this problem, how many private tests? So what is this public test case and private test case? So public test case are the inputs for the program, which you can see what is the input and what is the expected output for that. You can see that both things. So like if I see the test case, you can see test case. So these are the test case visible here. So we are giving these input 272 for this program which we are asking. Okay, and for this input, this should be the output, expected output. Okay, so you can complete this code, and you can, after when you will run this code by the clicking on this test run button, your output will also become. So this program will run, and output will be generated. So all three value will be visible to you: input, expected output, or your output. Okay, by your code. So you can see these. So these are visible code, actually visible input output, actually you can see. And you can identify the mistake in your code, or you can improve the logic by understanding that which input, for which input your code is not passing, your code is not working correctly. So this is only for that purpose. You can correct your mistakes or correct your logic by just looking these public test case. But there is no marks for these. Okay, because that you can also write a hard code for that. Okay, so we are not providing any marks for this public test case. Once your logic is correct, definitely that your code should give the correct output for all possible inputs. So similarly, these public inputs, we have also configured some private test case. Okay, that private test case will not be visible to you. You cannot see the input or you cannot see the output. So marks are only assigned for private test case. So similarly, 5 6 private test case are also configured as a hidden input, and that will be run when you will click on the submit button on the right side. Okay, so once you click on the submit button, you will get a status. So how many private test case pass, but you cannot see what was the input and what was your output like this. You cannot see anything, but you can see only status passed or not. Okay, so accordingly, you can just correct your logic of the code. So let me show you one this practice assignment. So now you can see overview status. Currently this is showing empty, nothing is there, 0 out of 0, 0 out of 0, because we have not run this code right now. Question statement, you can click on this button, tab question. So here you can read the problem statement, complete the program to calculate the sum of first n natural number. You are given an integer n, calculate the sum of the first n natural number and store the result in the integer variable sum. So this is our question statement. This is one sample input. So that means if you are giving sample input 5, output should be 15. So here you can understand that what this question is. So let me just show you what is the meaning of this. So question is simply asking that you need to solve this like 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. So this is for this sample input. Okay, this is n number and we want to calculate the sum of 1 to this number, input number 5. So if you add this, you will get a 15, and this should be print in the output by this program. So some part of the code, this interface you should also need to understand, because that many query we received later. So here some codes are configured as a fixed code. You cannot modify that. Okay, so let me show you this part also. Increase the size. Okay, so here you can see some codes are given as a shaded code. Okay, so shaded code, and some in between some white line is visible, and after that once again code is there. So this code is written like some part is missing of the code. You need to complete this code. Okay, so you cannot modify this fixed code. This shaded code is given as a fixed code. You cannot change this, you cannot remove this. You need to just complete this code. So in between there is a white line, and where the cursor is also blinking, here you can type anything. Okay, so like suppose if I just type print, okay, and simply, and if you want to add more line, just press enter. Okay, you can press any number of time this enter, and you can add more line in between. So some question you will see this type of gray code area, that is actually called as a fixed code. This may be a pre, or this may be a post fixed code. Okay, so this like we are just completing this code, so in between we are writing some syntax, and that program will be completed. So if we will open some another program here, this is also in the same nature. uh, so here you can see, here nothing is actually given as a fixed code. So here you have to write the complete code. Okay, so this is just like a configuration. So just read the problem statement carefully and just do your task, what is asked in the question statement. If question is asking to write a complete code, so write complete code. If question is asking to just complete the given code, so just complete that part only. So some in this already given as a input part, output part is also given. Just write some more syntax in between, so that code will become a complete to perform the given task. So this is the idea of this, and after writing the code you can click on test and button and submit button. So let's do this also for PPA1. So question is just like a provide the complete the program to calculate the sum of first n natural number. So here I'm just explaining this code little wait, so what is this code is given, so you should also understand that what code is given. So here we have written this code in code, some fixed code is given, so include stdio.h. So this is a preprocessor directives. So we want to use some function in our code that is required to read the input from user and or write the output to the user. Okay, or we want to read the input as a standard input from the console, or we want to print the output into the output console as a standard output. So to use these functions are defined in some library. Okay, so that library we are including our in our program, so this function will work correctly. Okay, so this scanf, you can see this scanf is a function, means the what this function is doing. So that definition or that complete program is written in some library. This is called as a stdio.h.head. This is called as a header, and you can just understand that as a library that contains many number of programs or function. We can directly use that. Okay, so this scanf is used for reading something, and this printf used for printing some thing as a output. So to use this function, we are attaching this library in our code. Okay, so that we will use this function correctly. After that, this is the main function. This is called as a main function, which is required for C program, and our compiler actually always looks this function first to execute. So main function is just like a block of code. Okay, so block of code, what we will write inside this block, that will execute one by one, step by step. Okay, so this main function is the required function for C program. So compiler always check this main function first and start executing from the first line like this. This is the first instruction, this is the second instruction. So top to down, all instruction will execute one by one. Okay, so int n scanf. So this int n means we are just declaring one variable, so that will store some data. Okay, which we will provide as a input. So this is, we are giving the name. So these things we will discuss in the big 3 content. So you will see in the big 3 content variables or data types, all these things. Okay, scanf. So this syntax will read the input. Okay, so read the input means we will provide some value to this n value as a standard input. So that value will be stored into this n variable. So this 5 value will be passed to this n, and that means n is just a pointer to the memory location. At that memory location, this 5 value will be stored, and we can call this data or call this memory location by this name n. You can give any name. You can give any name for this variable, that is called as a variable. Okay, so we are just uh, referring some memory location in our computer, and we are giving some label to that. Okay, so n is just a label for some memory location where our data is stored. So that means for this n value, this contains the integer data, and that we what value we will pass to this as input, that will store at this n. N means that memory location which is pointed to by this n. Okay, after that we will perform our task, and once we will get our output, we will return that output as a by print statement. Okay, so we are printing that output as a sum. So sum, you can see some variable is not declared. So in C, any variable which we want to use, that we need to declare that in our program. So what type of data we will store in that variable, and so after that we can use that variable to store data and update, modify, or anything. So like you can see, this sum variable is not defined yet. Okay, and in anywhere in our code. So what we can do, we can declare this variable, like because we are adding 1 to n number, so we will get again integer value as a output. So we will just declare this int sum. Okay, so now this is a declaration for some variable. Now how we will get this sum result? Okay, so we want to add 1 to 5. Can anyone tell me any mathematical formula for this?
n into n plus 1 by 2.
Ha, correct. Okay, So here we are not using any control statement, loop, or anything. We can directly use this formula and we can write one expression for this. Okay, so sum equal to and n. So n into. So for into we cannot write like this. Okay, so here we have to use operators for this programming language, so that we cannot write like this, divide by 2. So this is not correct because we have to define the what is operation is performing with this bracket and bracket anyway. So we have to specify the operator here. So n into n plus 1 and then divide by 2, and this is colon. This is the termination of this expression. So now this formula we have written. So the value will be calculated by this formula, and that result will be assigned to this sum variable. Okay, and that sum variable value we are printing here. So sum this, and that will be printed into the output. And what is this percentile d which is written here? This is actually a format specifier. So what type of value we are actually reading, what type of value we are printing. So we need to write some specifier that will define the type of data. Okay, so percentile d is used for integer. Similarly, if we want to print some characters, so we use percentile c. If we want to use print some string, so percentile s. If you want to print some print or read some float value, so we use percentile f. So there are some specifiers that you will learn in the week 3 content. Okay, so now this is the program we have completed. So our task is done. So we are reading the input by this fixed code. We have calculated the task. Now this sum value will be printed by this fixed code. Okay, so this is already given. So now our complete programming is done. Now just click on the test run button. Okay, now you can see this green status for each test case. Okay, test case 1, this is represent that your test case is passed. If some color is red color is coming, so that means some test case is failed. And you can see input, this was the input 5, this was the expected output, and this is your output by the code. Suppose if I did some mistake, suppose if I write like this n plus 3. Okay, so now I have written some incorrect code here, and I am just checking again. You can see all are coming as a red. Now this is the input 5, output should be 15, but our code is returning 20. So this is, you can see output, expected output or actual output is not matching. Here matching should be exact matching. If we are printing something like as a text, so that text should also be matched exactly. Okay, there is no character, single character change or space change, anything. If your output or expected output is exact match, then only test case will pass. So this, just keep this thing in your mind. Your output should be exact as required. So here you can see now this test case are failed. And this is auto evaluated. Okay, nothing will be done if you are just looking that I just missed this character, I just missed this space thing. So nothing can be happened. Your output should be exact match and your test case should be passed, then you will only get the marks. Okay, so now you can see each test case, our expected output and actual output is matched. Now if you feel that your code is working perfectly or your logic is correct, then you can click on the submit button, and when you will click on the submit button, private test case will run. Actually, now you can see this message, submission successful, 5 out of 5 private test case pass. Okay, now status you can also see on the overview page. So public test case all passed, private test case 5 out of 5 passed, and your score is 100 for this. So each problem considered as a 100 marks problem, but later this will convert into a required weightage. Okay, so this is the all overview of the programming assignment. If you have any doubt in this to understand any part, please ask. Okay, because in week 3 you have to complete all the assignments. Okay, so this solution tab will not be enabled before the deadline. Once the deadline will over, you can see solution also for the problems. Yeah, any question in this part?
Can
For
we
all
submit it just once?
No, you can submit any number of times before the deadline, but only the last submission will be considered.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah, you can see due date. This is the practice assignment. So due date is configured very late. So December 31 is configured, but GRPA's all deadline is configured 25 June. Okay. So till this deadline, you can submit any number of times. We will strictly suggest that always complete your assignment at least one day before the deadline. Okay, do not wait till the last minute of the submission, because maybe due to some heavy load of the submission, this your submission may be stuck or something. So always complete the submission at least one day before. Okay. So this is all about the programming assignment, interfaced, and all things. So if you have any query later, so you can use this discussion forum. So we have created one groups, Google groups for the qualifier, and we have one discourse forum only for the term student, those who have enrolled into the program, those who have already know. Okay, so this one group is created for the Google as a Google group. You can check this in your Google group. One this discussion forum list, introduction to C programming, May 25. So here you can post your query and we will respond them. Okay, so we have also posted the live session schedule here.
This discussion forum is only for the qualifier students and not the ones that have already qualified.
Those who have already qualified and enrolled into the program, that is again, this is the discussion discourse forum. This we have now. So discourse forum we have.
Okay, sir.
Okay, those who are
Create a new post here. Where can I could not understand the layout of this discourse forum.
no. So the term. One second. See, you have the different namespace link for the term student, correct? This.
Yes, sir.
One second. What is this link? So this is the term course link, and you can see this one. Okay, on the right top, the discussion forum, this tab. When you will click on this, you will directly jump into this discourse page.
Got it, sir. Got it.
Okay, here you can post your query. You can read all the previous queries. But for those who are qualifier students, this Google group is created. They can use this for asking queries. Okay. Yeah, okay, so this is all about the programming assignment. Now I hope you got the idea. So same programming interface you will get in the programming exam. So in the time constraint 2 hours, you have to complete all the problems which you have to give in the OPP exam. So just practice on this platform directly. Most of time, just solve all these problem, and also do not use the copy paste things. Always just write the complete code, so that will increase your typing speed. So for this live coding session, we have some different portal. So that is online GDV classroom. I am sending the link, invite link for this in the chat, and that invite link is also configured in the calendar. So if you have opened this from the calendar, this live session, one second. So this is the calendar of this course. When you will click on this event, you can see this online GDB invite link is given in the event also, and YouTube channel link is also given. So I'm sending this in the meeting chat. You can join this classroom.
Sir, which ID should we use for joining this classroom? The official IIT Madras email ID?
You can use official ID, or those who are qualified, they can use the email ID which they have used for the registration. Okay, so now once you will register, you will see this type of interface, this type of page. Okay, so those who have joined in the meeting, you can just click on that link, and open this online GDB. That will ask to register for that. So just joined as a student. Okay, joined as a student. There will you will get a two option, student and teacher. So select student and then just mark. I think that will ask also for some college name or something. So you can select any name, IIT Madras or IIT anything. But after that, once you will get this, you will see this classroom name, C Programming 2025 Term 2 Live Coding. And here we have already done these problems for the term student in initial first week and 2 week. So this I have just released again for the qualifier only. Yeah, any of you have seen this interface after registering this? Okay. Yeah, any of you are getting any issue to registration this? Any if you're facing any issue? So as I mentioned that this is a programming course, definitely programming is required. Programming practice is must required for this. Otherwise, you cannot clear this course. You cannot clear the programming exam. Okay, and see the grading document for this course because programming exam is separately required for the passing criteria. Okay, so you have to clear at least one of the programming exam.
So are these questions on the portal graded? Will they be marked in the...
So the portal questions are graded, which are labeled with GRPA. Okay,
Yeah,
so
and the ones that are on this interface online GDB, the ones
so
that
that
are...
that's are not graded. That's are only for practice. Okay, and that is additional practice only. Okay, so PPAs are also for practice. Okay, and this live coding session, these problems are also for practice, and this only GRPAs. These are only for graded. Okay.
Sir, sir,
Yes.
under selecting the school or university name,
You
when I
can
type
select.
IIT Madras, there are three Madras showing: Chennai, Tamil Nadu, and another Tamil Nadu. Which one should I select?
You can select any. Select the Chennai one. Okay, so that is not most important. Yeah. Actually, we can see the status. We can see the submission by this portal. Okay, at the current time. So because of that, we are using for this session. So once you will register, you will see this type of interface. Only these problems will be visible to you. So everyone open this. Okay. Oh, now 38 is okay. Good. Okay, so let's just complete these problems. We will start one by one. So this is just we have configured as a week one problem one. Okay, but we don't have any problem for week one and week two contents. We have not discussed the content, but we are just started before the content because from week three onwards, so programming assignments are now coming. So you should have enough understanding for the basic programs. So now you can see, so this is also very similar type of interface, but this is different portal, so some feature may be differ. So, but still you can see the problem statement, okay, as you can see in our portal also, course portal. And here you can also test the public test case and run the code. So some different types of interface is there. So you can run the code by the clicking on this run button. But for this run code, you have to pass the input, okay?
Sir,
And yeah.
sir, when I write the code in that shown editor, when I click the submit button, it's showing the submission is failed, due date is expired.
What due date is showing?
Sir, in the same portal that you are in now.
No, here what it is showing? It is showing the same 24.
Yes, sir. 5/24/2025, 11:59 p.m.
Okay, so don't worry about this. Are you able to click on this test button and
Yes,
able
sir.
to? So that is fine. Okay, because we have already released these problems for term students 2 week before. Okay, so because of that, maybe some deadline issues there, but still you can test your code. Okay, so here I'm just discussing the basic program. So this is the first program. Generally, we write for every programming language. Once we will always start for any programming language code. Mostly this is the first code. Okay, so write a C program to print the message "Hello World" to the standard output. Okay, so this code is just asking to write something into the standard output. So standard output is just nothing. This means we are just passing some output to the console. Console is just where we are just interacting with our code. So okay, so console when we will run this code. So console is the uh, area where we will interact our code at the runtime. So this code we need to write here. So that will print only this hello world string. Okay, and there is no input for this program, so we no need to write any input part for this. And our this output should be only this hello world, and in the same pattern your output should be the exact as required, hello world, character by character. So we will always start with the syntax like has include, because most of the program or every program we always use this reading input and writing output. So that means standard input output operation is required. So that library is required for most of the program where we are using input or output something. Okay, so has this include and that stdio.h. Okay, standard input output dot header. Okay, so this is a first part. After that we will just write a main block. Okay, main function, so that is required, main function. So here we are writing this int, so that is a return type of the function. Because later we will see in the week 5 content function separately. So we can write our function with any name, and that may return something to the same program. So what type of data that will return? So generally we will write a return data type of from the function. But for the main function, this is representing some different things. So I'll explain that also. So just understand that this is the mandatory things for every program. Okay, int main. Okay, and later we will write return 0. This is only for main function, 0 and close. So this is just a indication for the operating system. Once our code will actually complete, this function will return 0 to the operating system, and this is just an identification that your program is successfully run without any issue or without any error. Okay, so 0 is the indication message to the operating system that this program is successfully completed. Okay, so this is just a practice you will write in every code. Okay, main function is required for every program because this is the main part of the code which is checked by the compiler first and start execution from that point. So now the program is asking to print this hello world, so we need to write the print function. So if you want to print something, use this print functions, print f. Okay, inside this use double quote, and double inside this just pass the string what you want to print. So that should be the same format, hello and world. Okay, and after that this semicolon. So as I mentioned that don't click on the submit button for these week 1 and week 2 problems, because we have already released this 2 week before, so deadline is also over. But we will update this later. Okay, so for remaining week, so main programming is started from week 3. So next week when we will conduct this live coding session, so week 3 problem we will release and we will set deadline later. then you will not see this issue. So here, so you can test this code by this run button. Okay, so run button. So when you will click this run button, you can see what output is coming. So this is called as a console, where this black screen is given here. This is called as a console. So this program is compilation is done. Now the program is returning some output to the console. So that output is visible for us by the code. So now if you feel that your code is returning correct output, you can click on this test button. Okay, when you will click on this test button, so some test cases are configured similar to your like portal. So public test case and private test case. So for this problem, only public test case is visible. So you can see there is no input. This is the your output and this is the expected output. So both are exactly same. So because of that, this is passing the test case. So one test case pass out of test case. Okay, suppose if we will give the additional space in this and again test this. Okay, so I think this is ignoring, this portal is ignoring, but yeah, our portal actually will not ignore this. You can see here some differences there in between. Yeah, if you enter some space at the end, that will be ignored by our course portal. But in between, if you are inserting additional space, which is not in the actual required output, so you will get a failed things that output will not be matched. Okay, but this portal, this is ignoring actually. So just may this things should make sure that your output is exact match as the required output. Or suppose if I just press some additional character like this, then you can see this will fail. Now, yeah, fail. Okay, 0 test passed. So here this is not match exactly. Okay, so this is the first problem you see. Or before that, so this is the regular practice. Once you will start the program, any programming, you will get some errors also. Okay, so just learn from the error. Okay, do not leave the programming by the error. Just understand the error, why the error is coming. Suppose if I miss this semicolon, if I run this code, it will see some message. Okay, it will see you can see also some pointer place where some error is there. So just see your code and just think about that what you have missed. So every language have some rules and regulation. Some rules are required for every language, some syntax is required. Okay, so some syntax is provided by every language. You should learn the syntax and understand that what you are missing in your code. Okay, because every language follow some rules and syntax regulation. So that you should just understand that why you got this error, and next time when you will get the similar type of error, you will understand quickly without looking the complete error message. So this is the part of programming. So do not uh, scared from this. Just understand the error and improve your error, and this happens with every programmer. Those who have already doing the programming from many years, they also face the error. Okay, so do not leave the programming or learning by just getting some errors in the code. Now the very LLM is there, chat gpt, Gemini is there. You can also paste your code in the Gemini or chat gpt and see what type of errors you are getting, why you are getting the error. Just learn from these. Okay, we are not suggesting that do not solve the programming problems by these AI tools. Okay, LLMs. But you can use these tools for learning. Okay, so now this is the first program we have done, and this is correctly running. Now this is providing the output as required, and after when we click on the test button, it is also passing the test case. Okay, so any doubt in this code if you have? Now we will move to the second problem. So this is the first. Every program have these three parts mainly: reading the input, in between logic to solve the problem, and then return the output. So every part you should have very clear how we can read the input, how we can print the output, and in between your logic part will be there. So how you are solving the problem. So now the second problem you can see, write a C program to read an integer input from the user and print it back to the standard output. The program should follow these guidelines. That means use a suitable function like scanf to read the user input. Output the integer entered by the user with the descriptive message. Descriptive message means we are giving some message with when we are printing. Okay. So you can see what is the sample input. 42 we are giving as input, and this should be printed again as in this format. You entered colon then space then 42. So this is the format which we required to print the output. Okay, which we are reading. So again we will start from the same hash include stdio.h. Okay, now in main. Okay, return 0. Okay, so now in this part we want to read one input. Okay, so when we want to read the input, we also need to store that input in some place. So that means we required one variable to store that the input data. So we will what type of data we are reading? We are reading integer data. Okay, so we will declare that one variable like int input data. Okay, input data. So this is one variable which we have declared. Now we will store our data in this variable. So that function is required to read the input is scanf. And what type of data we are reading, so that we will here we will specify it by the format specified. So that is integer, so we will use percentile d, small d. Okay, so now comma, and where this data will be stored? So this data will be stored in the input data. Okay, but when we are reading this input, so we have to specify that our data should be stored the memory location which is pointed to this variable. So we have to use one symbol here that is called as a and symbol, and this is represent as a address. Actually what memory address is stored in this input data. So what memory address this input data is actually referring, where our data will store. So that address is written by this and symbol for this variable for memory location. So at that memory location our input data will store, and we can directly access that by this name. Okay, input data later. So now this input part is complete. So what input will come? That will be read by this function, and that will be stored in this place input data. Okay, now we want to print this. So how we can print this in a descriptive message? So we will use the printf command, printf, and here we will pass the message first. Okay, so this is called as a like a formatting is string formatting. So we will pass the message similar to which is given as a required output. You enter, okay, then colon, and then space, and we want to pass the value of input data here. So here again we will pass the specifier, here is this place, and what value will pass at this place. Okay, so this percentile d, this is just a type of data we want to pass here, and what data is stored in which place? That is in variable. So input data. So what is the meaning of this? So this string which is written inside the double quote will be print in the output, but at the place of this percentile d, the value of this input data will be passed. Okay, so the what value we are giving as input, so that value will be replaced to this percentile d. Okay, so if we are giving 10 input, so the message will come as a you entered 10. Okay, not percentile d. So this percentile d will be replaced by the value of input data. So let's this colon and then run this code. So this is the run code. Now you can see this is the console which is asking actually when the program is started running. So this part is actually executed. This scanf part actually, when this scanf part will execute, so our code will stop at this point, and this will wait for some input from the console. Okay. Now when we will pass the input, like when I'm pressing 15, I'm typing 15 in our console, and when I click entered here, so that 15 value will be passed to this function, and that this instruction will complete, and our that execution will move to the next instruction. Okay, print statement. So let me click enter button here, so you can see the second line, this print statement is now executed, and you got this message, you entered colon 15. Okay, so in this way we read the input. What type of value you want to read, just just write the specifier within the double quote and comma, and where you want to store that, write that variable name with this and symbol. Okay, and what you want to print in the output, just use the printf, and just write this message which is required as the output according to the question statement. If only the, suppose if question is asking to just print the output, what is the value of input without any message, so just only pass percentile d and input data. Okay, no need to write this message, but according to the question, this is the required output, so follow this. So in this way code is executing step by step, one by one. Okay, so what we are doing, so now click on the test run button. Now you can see all test case are passed, so these are configured. So here also public test case are like input is 4, your output, and expected output. Input is 10, your entered input, your this your output or expected output. But last test case, you can see this test case information is not visible, so this is configured as a hidden code. So your, if your code logic is correct, definitely that will pass all the test case. If your if suppose if you are getting passed all the public test case, and suppose if you are failing some private test case, so this means that your some logic is actually incorrect, and that is not fulfilling some type of possible input test case, some corner cases. Okay, so do not confuse regarding like this, some mistake is there on the portal or some mistake is there in the question. So just improve your logic, improve, just think about the problem statement again, just read the problem statement carefully, and just write your logic in that way, so that will always fulfill the all possible input. Okay, so that logic improve is required when you are passing partial test case, pass or fail. So this is the input, reading and printing output. Any doubt in this? Any this part? Anyone? So week 3, most of the problem you will see some part or some code part will be given to you. You
Sir,
need to just
hello, sir.
complete.
Can I
Yeah.
can I calculate percentage this?
Sanjeev,
It
I'm
can.
not getting what you are saying. Can you repeat your question again?
Sir, what is the meaning of can app?
So these are actually predefined function. Scanf. So when we will write anything like this, so suppose later you will learn this week in week 5, some function we can also create from our side, so that is called as a user function. But some function is already defined in some libraries that we can directly use. So this scanf, anytime when you will see this type of structure, so some name is given and then open bracket and close bracket. Okay, so this is represent as a function. So this scanf and printf are predefined function, or we can say that a built-in function for C programming, that is used for reading the input and writing the output. Okay, we
Okay,
can
sir.
directly use this. We can directly use this.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me give you one example for this. Suppose we can also create our function. So let me create some function for sum. Okay, sum 2 number. So how we can create? So like int, like sum, and I am passing int a and int b. So I'll not explain this in detail. So we will learn these things later. But for some idea, I want to give here. So this return a plus b. Okay, and let's just pass. Okay, so I'm just removing this function here, equal to 10 and to 20 Hmm. So like int c equal to sum of a comma b. Okay. So let me just change the name, otherwise you will confuse x, y, x, y. Print 30 c. Okay. So here you can see similar to this main function or which we are using printf function. Now we have defined one function from our side. Okay. So we have created one function and the name of this function is sum. Okay, that will take two parameter x and y and that will return the sum of these two parameter x plus y, okay, to the code. Now you can see this is defined one time and we can call this function any number of time. So let's we have defined only one time, so instead of this I can write here also print f the sum is second sum is percentile d, and here we are calling the same function from this point. Okay, so I'm writing like 30 comma 40. Let's use the percentile n. So this is the new line character, I'll explain it. Okay, so I'm running this code. Now we have defined this function. For defining means we have written some block of code for some part that can be called by the name of this sum. Okay, the purpose of this function is to return the sum of two input value. So that input value is for this function is x and y. Okay, now we are calling this function from here, this position, sum a comma b. What is the value of a? 10. What is the value of b? 20. So this 10 and 20 value will be passed to this function, and this x will become 10 and y will become 20, and this function will return 10 plus 20. Okay, 30. And that 30 will replace this call. Once this value will return, this 30 value will be passed here at this place of call sum. Okay, so 30 value will be assigned to c and that value will be print in our output by this function. Okay, now second print statement, the second sum is here again we are passing directly value sum 30 and 40. So 30 value will be passed to x, 40 value will be passed to y, and this function will return 30 plus 40 70 to this place. Okay, so 70 will be written here and that will be passed to this percentile d, and this output will become as a the second sum is 70. So let's run this. You can see, okay, so one additional space I have done.
Sir,
Hmm.
this means automatically comes out
What automatically?
by entering data.
Huh?
Uh,
What you are asking?
outcomes automatically open outcomes.
Huh? No, so automatically is not coming here. So yeah, so this print, I'm just explaining you what is actually function. So function is just a block of code which is already defined. We have just defined one time, but we can run that code many number of times in our code. Okay, so this you can see this we have defined one time. This we have declared everything we have declared here. Okay, there is no predefined function of this like with this sum. We can give any name for this function ABC, or you can give any name. So this is called as a user defined function, and we are just directly using this function by just calling this function. You can see we are just calling this function sum ab and you are getting the result for this function is returning directly result for this. Similarly, we are calling this function again second time sum 30 40. So this function will return directly result here 70. Okay, 70 30 we are directly getting the result. So this is user defined function. Similarly, we have some predefined function or built-in function that is defined inside some library. That means the complete code is already written in somewhere else. Okay, we are just including that code in our program by this adding this library stdi.h. Okay, that library contain all the definition of these function printf. So we are passing some string to this printf function. How this string will display in our console, that code is already defined in this library. So this is just like another program file that contain all the code. Okay, so this
Yes, sir.
printf,
Yes, sir.
scanf.
Sir, I wanted to ask that the place where the sum is, where you have written percentage D, here the value which you have got in int C will get substituted, right?
Where the second line, second print statement.
No, no, the line before above it. The sum
Ah,
is percentile D and slash N.
yes.
So here the value of int C will get substituted, right?
So what value that C variable contains, that will be passed at this place.
So, sir, do we have to write, do we always have to write percentage D slash N or any other
No, no,
variable can also work?
this slash n is used to move to the next line, because we have two print statement here. Okay,
The new
we
line,
have
sir.
we have okay, let's remove this. uh we want to print integer data. Okay, because C contain integer value, so because of that we are using percentile D. So if we want to use float data, we will use percentile F. So every type of data we have some different type of specifier. Okay, so here we are just returning, we are printing some integer value. Because of that we are using percentile D. Let's run this code and see what is the difference in the output. You can see output, both line is coming in the same line in the console. 30, the second line, the second sum is 70. So this slash n is just a character that separate the line. Actually that cursor will move into the next line in the console. So when we will just type slash n, so next this message will be print into the next new line actually in the console. So this is the new line character. This is called as a new line character. So
Understood.
once our this part will print, so this new line character will move the cursor into the next line to print the next message. So you are getting both lines separately. Similarly, we have some more tab like T, that will provide tab space. So you can see when we will run this, so some space is now coming. One tab space is coming in between two messages. Okay, so this new line character is just for separate the line.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So in this way, this is the function. We can also define some function is already defined, we can directly use. So some libraries also there for math library. So many math formula like log, cos, or this many math function are already directly defined in that math.h library. You can include that math.h library in your code and you can directly call the function from that library. Okay, no need to write the complete code for every part. So similarly, this standard input, this is stdio means standard input output. Okay, so if we are using standard input or output things in our code, so we have to include this library in our code. So this is most commonly library which we will always use, because every program will read something or print something. Okay, so here you can see we are returning something. So this return is not happening to the console directly. This returning is happening to the code itself. So what this function will return will come here in the code. Okay, so when we will pass some a comma b, so 10 plus 20, 30 will value will be replace this. Okay, when we will run this function, so 30 will come here by returning this function. So now this instruction will become like this: c equal to 30. Now C become 30, that way we are printing here. Similarly here, this sum will be some 30 comma 40 will be replaced by the return value of this function. So 70. So that 70 will come here and 70 will be passed to this place and that will be print. Okay, so some function are required for every problem. So we will directly include this standard input output and we will use printf and that scanf. So scanf is used for reading the input and printf is used for printing the output. So this is very common to function. So just practice on this. Okay, in week 1 assignment, most of this part is configured as a fixed code input and output. So you can just understand that how the input is happening, how the output is happening. Okay. So now next problem number 3, you can see this is just moving to the some logical part. So I have already done this. Okay. So I have done this using the function, but in code things we can also do this. So write a C program to read two integer input from the user, calculate their sum, and print the result to the standard output. Okay, now here this time we need to read two inputs, not only one. So calculate the sum. The program should follow these guidelines. Requirement: use a suitable function like scanf to read the user input, output the sum of two integer with a descriptive message. So you can see this 12 and 8, two value are coming separated by space. Okay. uh, Output should be print in this format: the sum is colon space and sum. Okay, so how we will write the code? So hash include, because input and output is also required here. Okay, so we will just complete this dot h. Okay, int main. Okay, return 0. Now our first part, because we want to read two inputs here, both are integer types, so we require two variables for that. Okay, so we will declare two variables, int a comma b. We can also declare like this. Okay, multiple variable in a one line. Okay, or you can also declare int a one line, int b second line. So they all are okay for this. So now two variables we have declared, both are type of integer. Now we will use scanf. So scanf, you can use two times this scanf, so that I'm just writing here. So percentile d, okay, and comma and a. So first value will be come in this input a value, because we have two values separated by space. So this if you can see this value 12 space 8, this will be considered as a two input, or maybe two line. 12 and 8 is coming in the new line, so both will be read as a two input separately. So I'll see you both type of things. Okay, so this is the okay, so we cannot use copy paste here. Scanf percentile d, and now comma, second value will be passed into the b variable. Okay, so this is the input part. We have read two inputs. Now the logic part. So what is the logic required here? We need to calculate the sum for this. So like int s equal to a plus b. So now this part is done. Now we want to print this sum. So that is the output part. So printf, the message is required, the sum is. Okay, the sum is colon space. Okay, the sum will also be the integer value, so percentile d, and now pass the variable where the sum is stored s. Okay, now this is done. Okay, so input part, this is the declaration part which is required for our code, what variable which we require. You can declare at any point. Okay, so here we have declared, again we have declared int s in the same expression line. Okay, or what you can do, you can also declare here and write only this here, no need to declare here. So, okay, abs we have declared. Okay, so now when we will run this code, you can see okay, we are getting some error. uh, what is the mistake? Okay, what is this?
What
Main.
type?
Main, actually main.
Main.
This is the mistake. Okay, run the code again. Yeah, so now it is asking for input, first input. So let's
Sir, in the scanf function, why have we written and before A and B?
so a, this is indicate the address of this a, actually this and symbol, because a is a variable which store the address of some memory location. So here we are just reflecting that address by this AND operator. So that will return the memory address of this A, where our data will store. Okay, so
Understood.
this concept you will also learn later when you will learn the pointer concept in the week 6 and 7. Okay, so here we are just returning a memory address to the compiler, that address our data will store, where A is pointing actually. Okay, so let's 12 as I am passing as a first input. Okay, when I press enter, it is asking again for one more input. Okay, so now like 24, this is the second input I am passing. So that where 24 value will be passed to B, 12 is passed to A. Where, okay, what is happening? So when I'm clicking enter, you can see this, the sum is 36. So you can see compiler execution is stopped at this point, where we need to pass one input from the console. Again, the scanf comes, again our execution will stop to read the input at this point. And once when we will click on the enter button, so our next line will be execute this one. So s equal to a plus b, so that means 12 plus 24. Now this line will be execute, so that will print the output into the console. So the sum is 36 in this way. So execution is happening step by step from top to down. Okay. So in this way, one more thing. So you can see out input format is different in one line. So again, run this code. This will work again. Okay. So suppose if 12 and 24, I'm passing in the one line only. So actually, these value will be considered as a two separate input and will be passed to the both scanf things. This is running. Okay. So now 12 is passed to this A, 24 is passed to B, and we are getting our output. Or you can also do in the one scanf, use this using one scanf, %LD, and just pass comma and B. And no need to write this second. I'm making this as a comment. Okay, so comment is like this. So this is also one part of the coding, comment things. You can make some instruction as a comment using this double slash. Okay, now this code will not be executed. Okay, this is not a code part. This is just a message for to understand us. Okay, this will not execute now. So you can see again, this is asking. So 12 space 24, you are getting the output. Or we can also provide the input in two separate line at 12 and like 26, you are getting the output. Okay, so many way you can write this syntax. So this is multiple way you can explore. Okay, when you are writing the code, just do some experiment with the code. So in this way, you can read two inputs and you can perform logic and print the output. So this is the problem number 3, and we can write this test case. All test cases are passed. Okay, so next, week 2 problem. Uh, this is some have some more logic in the problem. Okay, more type of details. So you can see now problem, you are working on a project. So that means the problem, what is the problem actually? Problem has some real life of some scenario. So that contains some stories or some details. So you need to identify the input parts from the statements and output, required output parts from the statements. Okay, and do your task. So you are working on a project that involves mapping the positions of two landmarks in a city. To determine the exact center point between the two landmarks, you need to calculate the midpoint of the line segment connecting their coordinates on a map. The coordinates of the landmark are provided as 2 points, each with x and y value. Your task is to write a C program that will compute a midpoint between these 2 points. So just understand the input type. So input is two value. So x comma y, x1 y1, x2 y2. Okay, output is just a middle point of these 2 points. Or you can understand this like 3 and 4. Let me just show you. So 3, like this is the point actually, 3 comma 5. So suppose x y coordinates. So 3 comma 5, one coordinate, and another is 7 comma 9. So suppose this is the some line actually on the xy plane, and you need to find out the middle point. So what you can do, you can solve this with the help of 3 plus 7 divided by 2 and 5 plus 9 divided by 2 only. So 3 plus 7 divided by 2 comma 5 plus 9 divided by 2. So in this way, okay, so in C programming, actually when we use the divide operation, okay, this will return actually a float value. Not a float value, but yeah, some float value can be the answer here. Okay, so here you can see 3 plus 7 is you will get a 5. Here's 14 divided by 2, you get a 7. But there is a chance, suppose if you have 3 comma 6, then divided by 2. So you will get a 9 divided by 2, and answer should become 4.5. Correct? So here some typecasting is required because output is also possible in the float format. Okay, and there is also a chance that you will get a like very long digits like 3.3. Suppose if you are dividing by 6 or not 6, 10 divided by 3, so what you will get, you will get a like this long value 3.3333 like this. Okay, so some details are given here. So the output consists of the midpoint of the 2 points. So this question actually the, all in possible inputs are given as like this, so you will always get a integer value, but we want to print that as a float value. So how we will store the result into a float, and we will print our output in the float value till only one decimal point. So how we can do this? Okay, so let's use the float things here. Hmm. So some fixed code is also given here. You can see this part is given as a fixed. This part is also given as a fixed code. Now just perform your part. So read the input first. So input may be like this: 3, 5, 7, 9. That means total 4 inputs are there. So we will just declare variable int x1 comma y1 comma x2 comma y2. Okay, so these are 4 input, and we will store the output also in 2 variables. So that we will store as a float value. So that we will declare like a float, and this is x comma y. Okay, or you can also like this mid is underscore x and mid underscore y. Okay, there is also one rule for this variables. You cannot write anything here because some limitation is also there to give the name for variables. Okay, so that you will also see in week 3 and week 4 content. So what are the rules to give the name, what character you can use, what are some constraints. So now we have declared the variables. Now read the inputs. Okay, so scanf like we are reading the integer value. So %ld space %ld. So we are reading two value in one time. So that is at the rate x1 comma y1. Okay, so now this become a first point. Now scanf %ld space %ld and comma x1 comma sorry x2 comma y2, but with the end symbol.
So can we write all the four in one scanner?
You can use, but you have to write like this x1 y1 comma x2 comma y2 like this. Okay? In the correct sequence, because every value is representing this 3 and 5 are the value for x1 y1, 7 and 9 are the value for x2 y2. So just write in the correct sequence. Okay, so now these are the input part we have done. So we have read the input. Now calculate the middle point here. So because we want to store the result in our float variable, so this mid x. So mid x, sorry, here. So mid x is the sum of uh, this x1 and x2. Okay, middle point. So that is like a x1 plus x2, the sum, complete sum, and divide by 2. Okay, so this is the first, and mid y is the sum of y1 plus y2 and divide by 2. Okay, so now this is the mid calculation. Now print this to in the output. So this should be the message actually. Here you can see this is the message given here, and that should be come into the only one decimal place. So printf output part we are writing here, printf %l. So the mid point of the location is space, now bracket. Okay, so after that first value is the float value, so %l f here. Okay, uh, comma, and then %l f second value, then bracket close. Okay, and now pass the value. So what is the value? That is, first value is the mid x and comma mid y. Okay, so now this is the print part. So let's see what output we are getting when we are running this code, or any error we are getting or not. No, we are not getting any error in the syntax. So just 3 space 5, okay, and 7 space 9, we are giving this input. Now we are getting this, okay, the midpoint of the location is 5 comma 0 0 0 0, and the 7 comma 0 0 0 0, all 0. So how we can just uh, stop this as a only one decimal point? So we can write here point 1f, uh, dot 1f. I think a dot is not required. Let me check. Okay. 3, 5, and 7 and 9. Okay, now coming correct. Okay, so this dot 1 means is representing after decimal only one value should come. If we will just type this as a 2, so you will get a 2 decimal value, like this. Okay. So 3, 5, and 7 and 9. You can see we are getting 2 decimal value. So this is just a specify, this is formatting things. So if you want to print only 2 decimal value, so use this 0.2. Okay. If you want to use 1, only print 0.1. So in this way we can write this. Here all the test cases are configured that like you will always get a integer value, so not like a point something. So that all test case will pass, I think. Okay, something is wrong. So what is the mistake? You can see any spelling is mistake. Location age. Some oh, locations. Okay, you can see some character is additionally coming here. We missed actually locations. Okay, so just press this S here. Now run not run test. Okay, now passed. Okay, so because you can see if we mistakenly missed something, so that your test case is not passing. So output should be in the correct format. Okay, so suppose what happen if we are getting some decimal things, like we are getting point 3 and 6. Okay, so what output will come? So 3 space 6, and so 3 plus 6, 9 divided by 2, 4.5 should come. Okay, similarly if suppose if we are using 7 comma 10, so then what should become? So the 17, and that means 8.5 something should come. But you can see what we are getting: 5 comma 0, 5.0, and 8.0. So here we are losing something actually. We are losing the information. So why we are losing? Because this we are using all integer value. Okay, and that operation is this divide operation is performing only integer part. Okay, so that means 3 plus 6, 3 plus 6, 9 divided by 2. So when we use this operation, so that will always return the integer value, integer part only, not the decimal part. If we are performing this divide operation on integer value only, so only the integer part will come, decimal part will be ignored. So how we can get this? So we have to use typecasting here. So we have to use the float typecasting here. So that means that operation should return the complete float value. Okay, so float and float. So these are some small things. So you will see this time to time, and you will learn from this. Okay, so let's see. So again, 3 comma 6, 3 space 6, and 7 space 10. Okay. Okay, still we are not getting correct. Mid x, mid y. What is the wrong thing? Another way is you can use like this. First, you
No, we
not.
can use output only. Na? 3 plus 7 by 2 will give us 5.0 only.
No, I just passed the value 3 comma 6. So 3 comma 6 should be na 9 divided by 2. So that should come
No, sir, that
4.5.
is x1 and y1. Now you have to pass 6 as x2.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Yeah, sorry. Huh, that sum is happening differently. Float. Okay, so that I need to change the that value. That means 4 or 7 something. Suppose this is 4 comma 5, and next value is 7 comma 10. Okay, so 4 plus 7. Okay, so the 11 divided by 2, 5.5 should come. Now 5 and 10, 15 divided by 2, 7.5 should come. So you can see we are getting correct now. Okay, because now we are what we are doing, we before executing the expression, before computing the expression, we are converting all the data into the float value. So that means all integer value will become a float value, and you will get a all complete information in the output. Okay, so in this way, if you are working with the float value in the program, so always just make sure that that calculation should be performed with the float value, not only the integer value. Otherwise you will lose the integer part. And one more thing, suppose if I just use this also a integer int. Okay, both are the integer type now, and if I just write a percentile d or d, still you can see we will lose our floating part here. So like 4 comma 5 and 7 comma 10, you can see we are only getting the integer part. Okay, we are not getting the float value. So just when what type of data you are using in expression, just make sure that storing that data in the correct data type variable or not. Okay, so here when we will use the divide operation in C, that will always return a float value. Okay, so that dot 00 something. So just make sure that you are storing that value into the correct type of data variable or not. So that is some uh, things which you should keep in your mind when you are performing some expression with some different type of data types. Yeah, Gargi. Yeah, Gargi has raised the hand. Yeah, Gargi, do you have any query? Gargi Chaturvedi, your mic is off. Hmm. You are not audible to me. You can write in the chat if you have any. Barsa Kumari written. Can you repeat, sir, please? I'm not sure which part you are asking to repeat. Barsa, you can open your mic and you can ask if you have any doubt in any question. Okay, so this is the first column. Okay, so sir, percentile d is like a placeholder for it. Yes, correct. So percentile d will always print the integer part only. Percentile f will print the float value. This is the format specifier, so that will indicate the data type which we are using for the input or using for the output. So there are multiple specifier. Percentile C is for single character, percentile S for string, okay, text and type of anything. Some pointer also, address we can also print, that is specifier is uh, uh, percentile P. Okay, so let's show you how we can also print the address of this. So how we can print. So for let's see for the printf, I am just printing the address of our some variable x1 by 1 only. Okay, so you can see this is percentile p, this percentile p, and this is for x1 and y1. So and symbol I am using now because we want to print the memory address of this x1 and y1, suppose. Okay, and symbol. So that and symbol is written actually memory address, and that will be print here. So let's run this. Okay, what I missed. Oh, 1%. Okay, in double. Oh, you have to change this because our data type is different. So I'm just putting 3, 5, space 7, comma 9. Okay, so now you can see output is coming till here, but after that, this line, last two values, okay, these are representing the memory address in hexadecimal format. Okay, so hexadecimal you have already seen in week 2, hexadecimal, binary representation, all these. So these are actually memory address in hexadecimal value. So these are printing for x1 and y1. Okay, so we can see the data in any type of variable memory address. We can't show any decimal part of an integer. Yeah, yeah, so we are getting, suppose if any value in decimal part, and if we are printing that float variable with only percentile d, so only integer part will be print. One will be added in percentile d will to tell. Yeah, this one is actually not meaningful if you are printing that 0.1 d. So that is not meaningful actually, because this 0.1 thing is only required for float value. That is that will not affect anything for integer part.
Sir, so it shouldn't raise, it won't raise an error if
That will
it,
so compiler handle some type of things. Okay, so that will not always give the error, but yeah, this is just like a warning things. So compiler ignores
okay,
this
sir,
type.
it's mostly, useless kind of just,
Useless, yeah.
yeah. Okay, sir, got it, sir.
So yeah, so this is the one problem. You can see now we have three more problem in week 2. So all problems are similar to this. You can try all these three remaining problems. You can see in the next problem, we are reading some input, one float value we are reading now this time. Okay. So how we know that how many bit int and character text. Oh, this is by default. Actually, you can use size of one variable is function is there. So let me check that also for this code. Okay, so int a, okay, float b, and double c. Now type print f percentile d. Okay, so size percentile d, percentile d, percentile d. So let's use this type is size of, I think size of size of, I don't, okay, let's try this. A size of b size of c. Let's run this. Something is coming like this.
Yeah, sir, 448 is coming. So 4
Hmm.
bytes is for int, 4 bytes for float, and 8 bytes for double.
Yes. So this size of function is used to just print the size of the space memory, what type of we are using. Some additional details are coming. I don't know why this is. Okay. So in this way, you can see the size of your memory location. Otherwise, you can just remember this size. Generally, we character 1 byte, integer 4 byte, float 4 byte, double 8 byte. Okay, these are very common. Okay, so this code is actually reading one input. Okay, as represent the Celsius temperature. Okay, and you need to convert that into a Fahrenheit temperature, but with 2 point precision. You can see till 2 decimal point we want to print this. You can see this formula directly you can use this formula for this question. Read this input as an integer, but to print the output, just use this formula, because division operation is there. Definitely some floating value may come. So store the result into a float variable and print with 2 decimal point. Yeah, Ajan. Ajan have raised the hand. If you have any query, please ask. So like int, I'm just writing Celsius for C. Okay, and scanf. Now we will read this value as a percentile C. Okay, and now we will just write this expression. So like a float f equal to, now C multiply, then 9 divided by 5, so 9 divided by 5, okay, and plus 32. We have written this expression, or you can just also clearly write this. So this operation is happening. Okay, so now because all these value are integer, so but your output should be come in the float, so you can just use the typecast. So float like this, and then print this, okay, with 2 decimal points. So printf, and then what is the output format? Temperature. Okay, so that you have to write the complete temperature in Fahrenheit scale equal to percentile f dot to f. Okay, so now just pass the f variable here, so that you will get. So run this code. Okay, we are getting some mistake. Okay, sorry, not percentile, comma, and okay, just pass this value 10, press. You can see we are getting some wrong details. Output should come 50. So what is the mistake here? 9 divided by 5 plus 32 f. Okay, so maybe, or we can try this, 9 into dot 0 and dot 5. Let's try this. Now it is coming correctly. Okay, so maybe some expression we are using float only, that I think that it was converting only the C part to the float. So maybe because of that. But now this is also a way to use the float things. So now we have used dot 0. So now this output will come as a in the float part. Okay, so 10 into what is the output of coming, this 9 divided by 5 will come in the float value, and that will be multiplied correctly. So you are getting correct. So multiple way you can do your
The
task.
first, why was it showing error?
Which one?
First, it was giving the answer 42, right? So why was it showing that
So
error?
that is, let me try again the things and understand that. Because this part actually, this should be correctly computed, okay, in the float value. But we have written here this expressions float. So let me just write like this. So maybe I think it will work correct. Check again. Still not coming correctly. Okay, or maybe 1 second.
Sir, I think it's writing 9 by 5 is taking 9 by 5 as 2. So it's 1 by 1.8.
So
So उसको 2
1 second,
करना
yeah.
है.
So float, I think we should write. Let's run this 10. Still not coming correct. This typecasting is not happening
Sir,
correctly.
sir, 9.0 and by 5.0
That is
and
working, but this is also a way to typecast. But I'm not sure this is not working here.
as given float
What?
as this is mentioned as float,
Sir, it is
then
taking 9 by 5 as 1 only. 1 point means only 1 when we write float ahead of it.
Uh,
Yeah, it is truncating it. Yes, sir. It's
But sir,
taking it
when
as
we had
one.
written float ahead of the whole equation, then also it was showing the same answer, 42. At that point,
that
it
I
must
was
show the
saying,
right answer.
note that should come correctly because typecast. Now it is coming. Okay. So yeah, maybe due to this bracket issue. So if I'm using this bracket, so that typecast is not happening on this part actually. So if I run
sir,
this,
It is the float is only
9.0
getting
and
applicable on 9 by
5.0.
5.
ha,
Sir, 9.0,
9 point, what you said?
0, 9.0 by 5.0, and
That
then
then working.
what
Yeah, so if we can also use, if you suppose if you want to perform float operation, so we can just use dot zero dot, make both value or any single value. If you make a float, that all operation will be work as a float part. Okay, suppose if you use dot zero only in this, still it will work correctly. So any one value should be float actually. This is called as a typecasting. What I am trying here, so that is float. This is called as a typecasting. So means we are getting like we have some expression which is performing on integer, but that should be perform as a float value computation. So like this, but due to this bracket actually this is not working. If we remove this bracket, still our expression is correct because this is bod mass. If you follow this operation will be performed correctly. Now the complete expression part, this float typecasting is performing correctly. But if I put the bracket, so I think that part is not handling. You can see we are getting 5. So when I'm putting bracket, what is happening actually, this bracket part will compute first. Okay, so this bracket part will compute first before typecasting actually. Okay, so this 9 by 5, it will return one integer, and after returning one, then typecasting this float is performing happening. So you are getting c into 1.0 plus 32. So we lost the floating value actually due to this bracket part. If I not use this
Sir,
bracket
what if
part,
we close the bracket just before the semicolon and after 32?
so that will not affect too much things because still it will work. But I have already tried this, but it was not working. So actually, this inner bracket is actually computing first. In Bodamas, this things we always compute the bracket part first. Correct. So here also this bracket
Sir,
part.
if we change the bracket, can we do so? Means curly bracket or square bracket?
No, I think that so here this curly bracket is different things. Okay, so curly bracket meaning is this opening bracket and this close bracket. We cannot use this curly bracket or a square bracket in the expression in a code.
Okay, sir.
Okay, all these things have different meaning in the programming. So we can only use this round bracket. This is considered as a expression things. Okay, we are getting this. So you can do your task in multiple ways. So this is now working. So typecasting is happening correctly by this 50. Okay, so this is a some float type of expression things. Yes, in some of the problem in maybe week 3 or week 4, you will get some this floating type of value where we are using double actually, double data type. Double is actually more precise, that contains the more details of the floating part. So in float value, you will always get till 6 decimal point, but double you will get maybe till 10 or 10, 12 decimal point. So that is more accurate actually. So most of the problem which we are using with the float data, we are using double data type, not the float in the assignment. So you can also use the double data type only. So this is now problem number 3. You can try this. Okay, so here some more details are given. Some online store sales p unit of the product every month. Each product is sold for rupees q. and the store incurs a cost of rupees R per product for manufacturing and shipping. Additionally, the store has a fixed monthly cost of rupees 5,000 for website hosting and other expense. Calculate the monthly profit of the online store makes. So now you can just read the problem statement, understand the problem, and just write the logic. What expression you need to solve here. So here you have three input, 500 for P value, Q value is 1500, and R value is 800. Just calculate the sold price, cost price, and fixed price, and identify the profit. So I hope you can try these last two problems. Both are on simple logic based. Just read the problem statement and just do the things. Can you try this, or if you have already done anyone, have you tried already? Have you already solved this? Any of you have already solved this problem number 3 or 4? You can explain by sharing your screen.
No, sir.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so I am just leaving these two problems to you, and now you can try these two problems and submit. Not submit, just test. Okay, because submission is not happening now. Okay, any query, anyone? Yeah, way.
Sir, saw some people that they write int main void. So I want to ask that what is the difference between int main and int main void?
Int main void, you are saying?
Yes, sir.
One sec, huh. So yeah, that is also you can written here. You can also written like void. I'm just opening the some another editor online GTP only. Yeah, you can also write here void. So this is just a return data type. Void is represent absence of value. Okay, nothing. Void means not, this will not return anything. So here, if you are writing this void things for the return function, you can just remove this return statement. No need to return anything. Okay, then you can run. This will still working fine. Okay, so
Okay,
that is also just a type of value which we are returning something. So if we are not returning anything, so just type mention the type void. Here you can also write void. Okay, so void. So that means we are not taking any input for this main function. So that is represent the absent of value. Okay.
sir. After writing int main void, there is no need to write return 0.
No, if you are writing void here, this place before the function name, if you are writing void, so that means this function will not return any value from the to the
Okay, sir.
operating system or any function. So just write void. If you are writing int, that means some integer value should return from the function.
Okay,
Print
sir.
is different, return is different. Okay, so return is just a value to return to the program or operating system. So if you have written integer, so that means your function should return some integer value. If you are writing void, that means your function is not returning anything. Type void.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Any other query?
Sir, I had a doubt from week 1 graded assignment 1.
Week 1 graded assignment 1. Uh, huh. That is already. I think deadline is already over now.
Yeah, sir, deadline is crossed, sir, and like there was one question which has 0 points. So, but
Which
so the,
question?
yeah, sir, I'll just tell you 1 moment, sir. Yeah, sir, question number 9.
Okay. Hmm. Yeah. What is your doubt in this?
No, sir, this is not the question, sir. The question is different. And,
You are qualified or term student?
sir, term student.
Okay. Your assignment is different. This one.
Yes, sir. Sir, like in the right hand corner, you can see that it's for 0 points.
Ah. Oh.
Yeah, sir. And in fact, sir, even the questions, even the B, C, D options are actually incorrect. There is no sign over there.
B, C, D.
Yeah, so the first option is
Okay. Okay. Okay.
absolutely right. It is the answer to the answer as well. But
Okay.
in
Okay.
the portal, it's showing that C will also be an answer, but C mein to there's no sign only.
Got it. So I think this is ignored for the grading. Did you receive the score for this week?
Sir, total score is not being displayed, but I'm able to see how many marks have I received.
No, no, total score on the dashboard. Week one score. You really
No,
receive?
sir. No, sir. No.
Okay, okay. So then I think this question will be ignored from the grading. So 0 marks is already there. So that means there's no weightage for this question.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So this is, I think, configuration mistake. So that we will remove this from the grading.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So any other query, or if you have no query, then we can wind up the session. Okay. Okay, then thank you everyone. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Bye,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.